Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. The stunning news reverberating across the globe is that Ukraine has fully retaken Crimea, marking one of the most significant turning points in the ongoing conflict with Russia. For years, the Crimean Peninsula has been a focal point of tension, a symbol of geopolitical struggle, and a testament to the resilience and determination of the Ukrainian people. The reclamation of Crimea is not just a military victory. It is a political and psychological triumph that sends shockwaves through Russia, Europe, and the entire international community. The collapse of Russian control over Crimea underscores the vulnerability of even the most fortified territories when faced with strategic, coordinated, and relentless resistance. It also highlights how the balance of power in Eastern Europe is undergoing a seismic shift that will be felt for decades to come. To understand the gravity of this development, it is crucial to revisit the origins of the conflict. Crimea, a peninsula situated on the northern coast of the Black Sea, has long been a region of strategic importance. Its natural harbors, military bases, and economic significance have made it a coveted asset for empires and modern nations alike. In 2014, Russia's annexation of Crimea was met with international condemnation. Despite holding a controversial referendum and consolidating military control, the annexation did not erase the region's deep connections to Ukraine or the persistent resistance among its population. Over the years, Crimea has become a heavily militarized zone, with Russia investing billions of dollars in fortifications, infrastructure, and the deployment of advanced weaponry. However, no amount of fortification can withstand the combination of local resistance, international pressure, and the evolving military capabilities of a determined adversary. Ukraine's journey toward reclaiming Crimea has been characterized by careful planning, patience, and the gradual accumulation of military, technological, and intelligence advantages. The Ukrainian armed forces, having learned critical lessons from earlier phases of the war, have implemented a multi-layered strategy that combines conventional warfare with cyber operations, precision strikes, and psychological operations designed to undermine the morale of occupying forces. One of the most striking aspects of Ukraine's approach has been its ability to adapt to changing circumstances, leveraging international support in terms of weaponry, intelligence, and training. The synergy between domestic resilience and foreign assistance has proved to be a decisive factor in turning the tide of the conflict in Ukraine's favor. The retaking of Crimea did not occur overnight. It was the result of months of meticulously planned operations, beginning with targeted strikes on critical supply lines and military installations. Ukrainian forces focused on disrupting the logistical networks that sustained Russian forces, effectively isolating units and reducing their operational effectiveness. Meanwhile, a comprehensive campaign to gather intelligence on Russian troop movements, fortifications, and defensive strategies enabled Ukraine to strike with precision, minimizing civilian casualties and maximizing impact. The combination of superior intelligence, local knowledge, and tactical ingenuity allowed Ukraine to execute operations that many experts once deemed impossible. The human element of this campaign cannot be overstated. Ukrainian soldiers demonstrated extraordinary courage and resilience in the face of entrenched Russian defenses. Civilians in Crimea, often caught between the warring sides, played a critical role by providing information, shelter, and logistical support to Ukrainian forces. Their contributions, though less visible, were instrumental in creating an environment where Russian forces found it increasingly difficult to maintain control. Psychological warfare also played a role, as the persistent presence of Ukrainian media, social messaging, and propaganda chipped away at the confidence and cohesion of Russian units, fostering desertions and surrenders. As Ukrainian forces advanced, the strategic significance of Crimea became ever more apparent. The peninsula is home to the Black Sea Fleet, Russia's largest naval contingent in the region, and controlling it is crucial for projecting power throughout the Black Sea and beyond. By retaking Crimea, Ukraine has effectively neutralized one of Russia's primary instruments of regional dominance. This not only weakens Russia militarily, but also undermines its political leverage in negotiations, signaling to Moscow and the international community that Ukrainian sovereignty is non-negotiable and that territorial aggression will face decisive consequences. The collapse of Russian control over Crimea has profound implications for the broader war. For years, Russia relied on Crimea as a strategic stronghold, a platform for launching operations in southern Ukraine, and a symbol of its ability to assert power in Eastern Europe. Its loss represents a severe blow to both military planning and national prestige. Domestically, the Russian government faces growing scrutiny and criticism for failing to maintain control over a region it invested so heavily in securing. Internationally, allies and adversaries alike will reassess the credibility of Russian military capabilities, which could shift the dynamics of ongoing conflicts and diplomatic negotiations. Worldwide, Ukraine's victory in Crimea also serves as a testament to the power of international solidarity. Throughout the conflict, Ukraine received significant support from NATO countries, the European Union, and other partners in the form of advanced weaponry, intelligence sharing, and economic sanctions aimed at weakening Russian military operations. This support not only provided Ukraine with tangible military advantages, but also sent a clear message that its struggle for sovereignty had the backing of the global community. The retaking of Crimea validates this approach, proving that coordinated international assistance can tip the scales in favor of nations defending their territorial integrity. From a humanitarian perspective, the retaking of Crimea opens the door for a long, overdue focus on rebuilding and reconciliation. The peninsula, having endured years of militarization, occupation, and political repression, faces enormous challenges in restoring infrastructure, ensuring the safety and rights of civilians, and integrating the population back into Ukrainian governance structures. Humanitarian organizations, local authorities, and international partners will need to work together to address these issues, ensuring that the victory on the battlefield translates into tangible improvements for the people who have suffered the most. The psychological impact of reclaiming Crimea is also profound. For the Ukrainian population, it is a moment of immense pride and vindication, a symbol of national resilience and unity in the face of adversity. For Russian forces and leadership, it is a moment of reckoning, highlighting the limitations of territorial ambition when confronted by a determined, adaptive, and supported adversary. The retaking of Crimea reshapes narratives on both sides, influencing public perception, morale, and the political discourse that will define the next phase of the conflict. The geopolitical ramifications of Crimea's recapture extend far beyond the immediate battlefield. NATO and European nations will need to reassess their defense postures and security strategies in light of Ukraine's demonstrated ability to reclaim occupied territory. Countries that previously doubted the feasibility of resisting Russian aggression may now feel emboldened, while Moscow will likely recalibrate its approach to regional dominance and international diplomacy. The retaking of Crimea also reinforces the principle that borders are not immutable when faced with determined resistance and robust international support, setting a precedent that could influence conflicts worldwide. It is also important to consider the military lessons learned from this operation. Ukraine's success in Crimea demonstrates the effectiveness of combined arms operations, precision strikes, intelligence-driven tactics, and cyber warfare in modern conflicts. The operation underscores the necessity of flexibility, adaptability, and local knowledge in achieving strategic objectives. Military analysts around the world are likely to study this campaign closely, extracting insights that will shape doctrines, training programs, and defense strategies for years to come. Looking ahead, the retaking of Crimea is likely to accelerate efforts toward a negotiated resolution of the broader conflict. With one of the most contentious issues now decisively resolved in Ukraine's favor, diplomatic channels may gain new momentum as the balance of power has shifted. However, the path to lasting peace will be complex, requiring careful management of security concerns, political interests, and the integration of affected populations. The lessons of Crimea will undoubtedly influence these negotiations, as the world witnesses the tangible consequences of sustained resistance and strategic patience. In conclusion, Ukraine's full retaking of Crimea is a historic milestone, marking the collapse of Russian control over a territory that has been central to the conflict since 2014. The victory represents not just a military success, but a triumph of strategy, resilience, international support, and the indomitable spirit of the Ukrainian people. It signals a profound shift in the balance of power in Eastern Europe, challenges assumptions about the invincibility of fortified territories, and reaffirms the principle that sovereignty and determination can overcome even the most entrenched adversaries. As Ukraine consolidates its control over Crimea and begins the work of rebuilding, the world is left to reflect on the lessons of this remarkable campaign and the enduring impact it will have on global geopolitics, military strategy, and the struggle for freedom and national dignity. The full retaking of Crimea is more than a headline. It is a story of courage, strategy, resilience, and justice. It is a moment that will be remembered in history books, studied in military academies, and celebrated by the people who fought to reclaim their land. The collapse of Russian control over Crimea sends a resounding message to the world. Determined nations with the right strategy, support, and resolve can overcome formidable obstacles and reclaim what is rightfully theirs. This victory is not just about territory. It is about reaffirming the principles of sovereignty, freedom, and the enduring power of national unity.